back in the PC9 after a delightful cruise, and we're now ready for descent. I'm not going to do an ordinary descent at a leisurely 2,000 feet per minute, but what's known as a maximum rate descent. This allows you to get down very quickly. Okay, let's begin that. Move the PCL to idle and pitch down to 22 degrees. When approaching 250 knots, deploy the air brake and it'll start to slow down, so I'll pitch down even more and try and maintain 250 knots. The airport we're going to land at is up ahead here. It's Hobart Airport, and I'm not going to enter an ordinary circuit pattern, but do what's called a initial and pitch, also known as a run and brake maneuver. Basically allows you to enter the circuit and land without spending much time at low airspeed. It's sometimes performed by high performance aircraft, especially military aircraft. See, my altitude's decreasing it in a rather swift fashion, maintaining 250 knots fairly well. Okay, I'm going to pull out of this now. Don't want to pull back too hard or over G, and retract the air brake, and I'll maintain about 220 knots. I'll perform my rear joint checks now. Check fuel, got about a quarter of a tank there, and the left and right tanks are balanced. Check instruments, erect and off flags away. Compass comparison, check the HSI against the magnetic compass that they match up, which they do. Set the altimeter to the local barometric pressure, and just press B, that does it automatically. And my ECS, environmental control system, that should be set on high, which it is. Alright, we've got the airport up ahead. Okay, to begin the initial and pitch maneuver, what you do is you line up with the runway, or slightly to the side of it, or go slightly to the right hand side of it, but you want to be parallel with it. Runway heading here is 120 degrees, and the circuit height is at 1,000 feet. Once we're about halfway up the runway, we do a sharp left-hand bank with a 60-degree bank angle, and we do a 180-degree turn. This sharp turn induces a lot of drag on the aircraft, slowing the aircraft down rapidly. Okay, that's basically where I want to be in relation to the runway, parallel and a bit out to the side. And I'm coming in at about 220 knots. Okay, I'm about halfway up the runway now. I'll do my left hand bank, 60 degrees. On the attitude indicator, that's that final white increment there. I find it is quite difficult to maintain altitude during such a sharp bank, but I'll give it my best shot. Also, PCL should be set to idle before you initiate this bank. Yeah, it's not too bad. You want ideally the tip of the wing should be lined up with the runway, which it just about is, so that's pretty happy with that. Okay, we'll add a bit more power here, try and stay above 120 knots. Before my pre-landing checks. Airspeed is below 150 knots. Air brake is in. Landing gear, deploy. Got 3 greens. Check brakes for positive fuel. Check fuel again. Tanks are balanced. Okay. Next we lower the flaps to the approach setting or takeoff setting, and we do a 30-degree bank to get onto final. And I'll try and maintain about 110 knots on my approach. You know, keep looking out the window, see if you're lining up with the runway. I might have to increase my bank a bit more here, and also start descending. Yeah, so I've rolled out fairly well in line with the runway. Alright, I'll deploy full flaps now. Threshold speed is at 85 knots. I'm just above 100 now, still slowing down. Probably land a bit further up the runway than I want, but it's plenty of runway to land on. PCL idle. And I'll do a bit of a flare and touchdown. Once my airspeed is below 60 knots, I'll commence braking. Like so. And I'll vacate the runway. Let's clear the runway. Perform the after landing checks. Check that the air brake is in, that the flaps are up, retract flaps to up position, probes, not anal probes but the anti-ice probes, you can put them to off, and landing lights, set that, make sure that's off, and make sure your strobe beacon light is on. Okay, shutdown checks. PCL is idle. Put the parking brake on. Standby attitude indicator. Cage that. Avionics. BAS and gen off. Inverter off. PCL's off. Engine cutoff paddle. Pull that up and the engine will cut out. The ECS can go to off. Gen master off. And now we will get outside and put the wheel chocks in place. We can turn off the nav lights and the strobe lights. Bat master off. Oxygen off. And flight controls locked. The pilots can jump out. We got the prop retainer we can put in, and the intake covers. And that is it for descent, landing, and shutdown.